First off, all glory be to Yahuwah. Ambassadors of YAH's in the building. Jimmy, let's get it, man. First off, all glory be to Yahuwah. Ambassadors of YAH's in the building. Jimmy, let's get it, man. First off, all glory be to Yahuwah. Ambassadors of YAH's in the building. Jimmy, let's get it, man. First off, all glory be to Yahuwah. Ambassadors of YAH's in the building. Jimmy, let's get it, man.
All right. I want to thank our Aki Brandon, who put this thing together and sent this to me. He said, I have an intro for you. He said, you can use it if you like. And I like, so I used it. So I am Jimmy, and we are the ambassadors of YAH, and we come here to destroy traditions and speak truth. That's what we do. So I want to thank all of you for coming together on this segment, the second segment that we're about to do, and we're just going to continue to tear down those traditions and erect the truth as Yahuwah gives it to his people, the Mishpachah, the family. All right. So I know we left off talking about Christianity being the beast system. Christianity is the beast system. If we're going to walk in this truth, if we're going to walk in the Ruach, then we better have the truth with us as we're walking. Because if you're walking in a lie, you're doing it all in vain. You're doing it for nothing. It's not counting to you, other than it's counting against you. The scripture is very clear about how we are to keep his commandments. The scripture is very clear that if we love him, we will do his commandments. The scripture is very clear, if you want everlasting life, do the commandments. Now, all of this cannot be refuted. You may twist it to your own destruction. You may speak whatever it is that you believe is the truth, all to your own demise. But nonetheless, the truth is the truth, and you can do nothing against the truth but be for the truth. So either you come out of the lies and line yourself up with the truth, or you find yourself, or you're going to find yourself on the wrong side of history. You're going to find yourself in that hot, boiling lake of fire. And really, truly, there's no reason for you to be there unless you just didn't want to take what has been freely given to you. And all you have to do is trust and obey. There is no other way but to trust and obey that old hymnal. All right. Let's see here. What do we have? What do we have? I just want to see what people are saying here. So, the traditions of men is something that we've all been dealing with for some years. So, we're going to talk about something that's a little touchy. This is why we couldn't go to TT, because you know TT is so snowflakey. It melts as soon as you just say it. Oh, you was about to say Israel. It. You can't even say it was. No. You know you was about to say Israel. We got to shut you down. I was just going to say it was a great time, right? This book right here that you see before you. Let me give you a little history about my relations to this book. And I didn't write it. Many of you probably know who Hal Lindsey is. He's passed away now. He was a Christian who taught eschatology, which is the study of end times. He was a man that I had looked up to for many of years when I was in Christianity to learn about the truth. But it goes back even further than that. It was some of my first memories, without knowing who he was of this book right here. This book that you see before you was the first time that I was introduced to prophecy by my stepdad, the dad that raised me since I was 9 months old. It was given to him, not this same identical book, but one of the copies of this book back in 70. Oh, I know I'm aging myself now. I want to say it was right around 1979, maybe 1980. I was in 3rd or 4th grade. This book was sitting on the coffee table. Now, you got to imagine, we're talking about the late 70s, early 80s, when we didn't have a lot of the glossy stuff that you guys have now, you know, all the glossy print and all this. So this back then, this was like, wow, this is some awesome artwork, right? Well, this was sitting on the coffee table and I happened to pick it up, not knowing that my uncle sent this to my dad. So my uncle sent it to his older brother, my dad, and wanted him to read it. So I snatched the book, or excuse me, I picked up the book from the coffee table, and my dad snatched the book out of my hand, and he pops me up over upside the head, you know, softly, gently. And he says, "Boy, do you know what this book is about?" I was like, "No, Dad." Well, my dad decided that he was going to teach me some end time events. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, that I can recall what I'm sharing with you. So he said, "Sit down." So I sit down on this lap as this young boy, and he's got this book in his hand, and he starts summarizing the book of Revelation about the trumpet judgments. And I just recall him saying how a third of the trees are going to burn and a third of the waters are going to turn to blood. I remember him specifically saying that. Everything else I can't quite remember, but I remember that. And it was because of this book. And so this book, I decided to get me a copy of it because it holds a significance in my life in my younger years when a seed, a prophecy was planted in me. The very first seed that I can think of that was about the truth. And it happened to be this book. I don't think I read the book even after my dad popped me upside the head with it. I was just more enthralled about this artwork on here of this mushroom cloud. That's all I remember was the mushroom cloud. And my dad tells me about a third of the trees burning up and and he also talked about a third of the rivers also being contaminated and can't drink it. But he also told me about a third of the seas turning to blood. And that was like, whoa, are you serious, Dad? You know, and here I am, either in 3rd or 4th grade. So, you know, you believe in everything that's coming out your dad's mouth. You're not even questioning it. Like the next thing coming out of my mouth was probably, when is this going to happen, Dad? You know, but I can't recall the whole conversation. I'm just telling you what I remember and recall. And So let me just show you some stuff that's in this book. This is the lies that we've all been taught. Okay. So I want you to see this timeline that Hal Lindsey gives to those who are reading this book. Let me blow this up. You can see here the BCs, okay, and then it goes into the AD, all right? But I want you to read this with me. Give me a second. Let me brighten up my screen here. I don't know why this thing is. Okay, there we go. All right. So here, 1000 BC talks about King Dawood establishes Yahushalom as the capital of, and they put here, Ish kingdom, okay? The kingdom of Yehuda, the capital of the kingdom of Yehuda. The first temple was built under King Solomon, and he puts it as 940 BC. First temple destroyed by the Babylonians under King Nebuchadnezzar and the expulsion of the Yahudim, 586 BC. The Jews returned from exile and rebuilt the temple while under the Persian rule, around 538 BC. 444 BC, walls of Yahushalom are built by Nehemiah. Yahushalom is taken by the Greeks under Alexander the Great. This was around 332 BC. Seleucid, which was one of the generals of Alexander the Great, conquers, and Antiochus III rules, allowing the Jews to live according to their own tradition. This is around 198 BC. 167 BC, now this is where things get crazy. Antiochus IV turns the second temple into a shrine for the Greek god Dionysus. Notice the suffix sus, like Jesus, Dionysus. The sus is in representation to Zeus, okay? Jews under Yehuda Maccabee liberate the temple. Temple is rededicated, hence Ha-Kunak. They say Hanukkah, but it's Ha-Kunak. Under the Hasmonean dynasty, heirs of the Maccabees, the Jews' civic and religious life flourishes, okay? So this happens around 164 BC. This is when they caused the abomination of the temple, the second temple. That's when this happened, and slaughtered a pig on the altar and erected Zeus, which is what Dionysus was all about, because Dionysus is the son of Zeus. 12,000 Jews were massacred by the Roman who conquered Jerusalem. 12,000 of the original Jews were destroyed when the Romans conquered Jerusalem. This was 63. This is 63 BC. This is when Rome started really coming up to the head of the power. And then 37 BC, King Herod reigns over Jerusalem. And then we have here from here, how Lindsay brings up the crucifying of the Mashiach that was ordered by Pontius Pilate, and he puts 33 AD. Now, this 33 AD, some people question it could be 27 AD to 33 AD and everything in between, depending on the calendar that they're using. And this is why we know all these calendars that they were using back then were off. So we can't use none of them. Okay, this is why Yahuwah is revealed and restored his true calendar to his people. And then 70 AD, which is very well known, the first Jewish revolt, but it was the true Jews. They didn't call themselves Jewish. The first Jews revolt against the Romans, and the second temple is destroyed by Titus Flavius, which was the emperor of Rome at the time. And Yahushalom is renamed Aelia Capitolina under the Romans. The second Jew revolt, led by Bar Kokhba, and the Romans quell Bar Kokhba revolt and forbid the Jews from living in Jerusalem. This is around 135 AD. This is when the last of the true Jews were living in Jerusalem. Very easy for them to remove them because of the skin color difference. The Romans, of course, are Caucasians. The true Jews are of melanated brown skin to dark, very dark skin, what people would call African Americans today, because that's who we know they are. Also known as the Negroes. So anybody who was of melanated skin was kicked out of Jerusalem. They were kicked out of their own home, but this was all because of the curse of them putting up their own Messiah and giving him over to the Gentiles to be hung. And so the Messiah brought the revenge right back to the people, his people, that the same would be done to them and to their lineage. They gave over their Messiah to the Gentiles. Yahusha gave over the people, his people, over to the Gentiles, hence the transatlantic slave trade. The Messiah was whipped by the Gentiles. The slave masters whipped their slaves, again, by the Gentiles. He was sold. We were sold. They hung him on a tree. Guess what? They be still hanging us on a tree right now. Still finding them to this day in some of these cities and towns, in these sundown towns. They're still doing this to this day. 135 AD, Romans quelled the Bar Kokhba revolt and forbid Jews from living in Jerusalem. Constantine establishes Christianity as the state religion. Even Hal Lindsey, a Christian, right here says Constantine establishes Christianity as the state religion. And guess what? It has been the state religion ever since. Do you hear me? This is what we were talking about earlier about the woman who rides the beast in Revelation chapter 17. That woman is still Rome. It's the mother church. It's the harlot. She is the whore. She's the one who tells all the kings of the earth to come and kiss her ring. Whoever the pope is, the sitting pope, they have to come there and see him. Every U.S. president, not one excused, have went and kissed the ring of the sitting pope, showing allegiance and that they are under the authority of the mother church. 335 AD, the church and the Holy Sepulchre is built by Helena, which is the mother of Constantine, I believe it was. Jews are forbidden to enter Jerusalem except to lament the destruction of the temple on the 9th of Av. They still do this as a tradition, these Jewish people, not the true Jews. The Empress Eusedia allows Jews to return. Christianity flourishes as numerous churches are built. This Christianity that flourishes is Catholic. This is why you see all the saint this and the saint that and the saint this and the saint that all over Jerusalem, all in the set apart land. You'll see saint, saint, saint. It's showing you the power and the authority of the Roman Church, how they took over that area during the times of the Crusaders. 614 AD, the Persians conquered Jerusalem, return it to the Jews. Many churches are destroyed during the conquest, most of which are later rebuilt. The Byzantines conquer and expel the Jews. Muslims and the Arabs conquer Jerusalem under Caliph Omar. Omar limits the number of Jewish families allowed to return to 70. The Al-Aqsa Mosque, that is the Dome of the Rock, is built by YAH and the I don't even know how to say that, Umayyads on the remains of the Second Temple. But we know that's not true because the Second Temple is not sitting in the same spot, or the Dome of the Rock is not sitting in the location where the Second Temple is or was. Abdul el-Malik completes the Dome of the Rock on the Temple Mount in 61 AD. That's how old that structure is. When you see a picture of the Temple Mount and you see that gold dome, that's this right here, the Dome of the Rock. That's what you're looking at. It is a Muslim mosque. Abbasid conquest. Jerusalem is administered from Baghdad. The city decays. Jerusalem falls to the Egyptian kingdom of Ibn Tulun. Let's see, what else here? Caliph al-Hakim orders destruction of the synagogues and the churches, including the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Crusaders conquer Jews and Muslims are massacred. The Christian Arabs are brought by the Crusaders from the east of the Jordan River and are settled in the Jewish quarters. Jews are murdered, exiled, or sold into slavery in Europe. Saladin rules Jerusalem and allows the re-entry of Jews. 300 rabbi scholars from Europe settled in Jerusalem. This is when the Ish people started showing up. Seljuk Turks conquered Jerusalem. Notice that this is all about Jerusalem. This is what the Creator said would always be about Jerusalem. Maluk of Egypt conquered Jerusalem, ruled for 2.5 centuries. Nachmanides arrived from Spain, reviving Jewish religious life. These would be the Sephardic Jews, again, still not the true Jews. Jews are heavily taxed under Mamluk. Ottoman Turks ruled Jerusalem, so the Muslim took this back. This was during the Ottoman Empire. Suleiman rebuilds the city walls back in 1535. This right here, we're going to talk about that in a minute, going to Daniel chapter 9. And official census counts of the number of Jews as 1,500, exceeding the Ottomans' quota for Jews. Jews are forced to pay bribes to remain in the city. Population totals 14,000, 6,000 were Jews, 5,000 were Muslims, and 3,000 were Christians. First official census in Jerusalem, this is in 1844, confirms a Jewish plurality in Jerusalem. 7,100 Jews, 5,700 Muslims, and 3,900 Christians. Now, this right here talking about these Jews, these ain't talking about the original Jews. No, the original Jews were sent and sold into slavery, just like was read in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, that they would be taken by ships and they would go to a land that their forefathers didn't know, and they shall worship wood and stone, which is exactly what has happened, Christianity and Islam, and which our forefathers didn't know. And we would be told to serve these other mighty ones, which is why most of us, not those of us that are here, but we used to be Christians. We used to bow down to the stone, to the wood, the old rugged cross. And some of our other brothers and sisters of the true DNA Yashra'al that are under Islam, and most of them converted while they were in prison, which I've witnessed a lot of. And you see the same thing happen to so-called Malcolm X. Same thing when he went into prison. He ended up converting into Islam once he went into prison. And so Islam has a very strong hold of our Black brothers and sisters once they enter into the penal system, because this is a religion that allows them to hate the white man. It allows them to also hate the Western capitalism that has done this to them. And so it's easy for them to line up with Islam beliefs. Whereas those of us who understand that Christianity and Islam are of the beast system, we recognize it because Yahuwah has opened our eyes. Has nothing to do with us hating someone because of the color of their skin. No, we hate the kingdom that we're dwelling in. We despise the empire that has put us in these shackles, mentally speaking. And so we know that this place is going to be destroyed. We don't destroy it. We don't rise up against this kingdom. No, Yahuwah is going to do that. He says, "Revenge is mine, saith Yahuwah. He shall repay." He will destroy the woman who says that she sits as a queen and shall not see any bad things that happen to her. She shall not be a widow. She shall not lose any children. But he says, in one day, in 1 hour, she shall become a widow. She shall lose many lives. Even her strong men shall be like women. They will all be holding their private parts, and all their faces shall flush. This is all prophesied. It's all coming. Glow in the dark, you stick around, you're going to find out that's all we talk about is love. We hate the system. We hate the system, but we speak about love, loving our neighbor as ourselves, even loving our enemies as ourselves. This is why we share what we're sharing. We don't share this to be up on somebody or one up on someone else who don't know this information. No, we want people to know how we've all been lied to. But so let's continue. And so as we continue on this timeline, this is where it starts to get, where you see this Jewish influence of the modern day converts that call themselves Jews and are not. 1917, this is the British Mandate, also known as the Balfour Declaration. British began to rule over Jerusalem under the General Allenby. So any of you who ever studied the British Mandate, if you look at the old area of what is called the Middle East, this is when they gave it the distinction and called it the Middle East. Saudi Arabia didn't exist. Yemen didn't exist. Uh, Abu Dhabi didn't exist. Kuwait, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Israel. All of this didn't exist. This was all put under the mandate of Britain. This was all part of their area after World War I. 1922, Hajj Min al-Husseini is appointed Grand Mufti of Jerusalem. Population 33,000 Jews, 13,000 Muslims, 14,000 Christians. Hebrew University is established on Mount Scopus. I want to look into that. That sounds very pagan. Arabs riot against Jews. 133 Jews and 116 Arabs are unalived. 1932. No significance there. 1938, no significance there. 1948, War of Independence. Jerusalem is divided with East Jerusalem under Jordanian rule. Arab Legion captures the old city and destroys the Jewish quarter, including 58 Jewish religious sites, population 99,000 Jews, 36,000 Muslim, 31,000 Christians. Jordan defies Armistice Treaty, this is in 1949, that assured free access to the Western Wall. 1951, King Abdullah of Jordan is assassinated by Muslim Arabs atop of the Temple Mount. So this was in Jerusalem. 1965, Teddy Kollek becomes mayor, governing for 28 years. And then finally, 1967, the Six-Day War, Jerusalem is reunited under Jewish sovereignty. Knesset passes laws for the protection of holy places of all faith. So this is what we know today as Israel. Okay, Lauren, you said, please let some that are here about Noah and his sons, please. Are you talking about the lineage? Is that what you're talking about, Lauren? The lineage of the sons of Noah and who they are? And so what we just read here, this is how Lindsay compiled and put together with his understanding. Cursed for telling his brothers that Noah was naked. Okay, I see Craig. I see you got the Star of Ranfan on your icon or your avatar or whatever you want to call it. So let's go back here. I said I wanted to bring up, well, I'm waiting to see what Lauren has to say here about Suleiman rebuilds the city walls. Suleiman. Okay, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Oh, excuse me, over here burping. All right. Give me a second. Let me turn this on. Lauren, did you want to clarify what you was asking me or commenting to tell me? Suleiman decree. Okay. Suleiman the Magnificent. Yes, because think we are the oh, I see. Okay, thank you, Lauren. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so the person who's in here with the Jewish star, Craig Thomas. Craig Thomas, I don't know how much you know about true history of Israel, who are the true Yashraelites or the Yashraelim. And the children of Noah, Japheth, Sham, and Ham, those three is the progeny, those that have literally repopulated the earth. And so what you have is The Japhites are the Europeans. The Hamites are Africans, as they would say, that was south. And then the Shamites are those of what people call the Middle East area, not Middle Easterners, but in the Middle East area. Okay. And so what has happened is that, like you just brought up, Craig, you brought up about the Ethiopian Jews. They too are converts. The Ethiopians are not Shemites by blood, they're Hamites by blood. You can find that out because the Ethiopians are the Cushites, and the Cushites are the Ethiopians. The Cushites come from Ham. Okay, you can find this in the tablets of the nations in Genesis chapter 10. Now, those who call themselves, and I don't know if you're one of these people, Craig, if you're Jewish or not, or if you just rock the Jewish flag, but the Jewish people, they identify themselves as one of two people: Sephardic Jews or Ashkenazi Jews. Well, many ways they're one and the same. It's just where they come from, the location. The Ashkenazi Jews are not Shemites whatsoever. They are Japhites, Genesis chapter 10. A lot of people have problems with that because it exposes who the true people are and who the true people are not. Okay. Everyone be thinking, and I say that as Ebonics, everybody be thinking that the so-called Negroes and the so-called African Americans are descendants of African ancestry, and they are not. They are not of African ancestry. Now, the people who have enslaved us have given us the definition and the identity marker of African Americans, okay? But we are not African, okay? Nor are we Americans. We are from the tribe of Yehuda, or the tribe of Judah. The tribe of Judah fled to West Africa and created for themselves a place that they called the Kingdom of Judah, or the Land of Judah, or Land of Yehuda. This would be in the areas of Benin, Liberia, the northwest part of Nigeria. This area was all known as the Land of Yehuda, which was a land that they have taken as to themselves, but was not from their place of origin. And so the Hamites kicked them out by selling them to the merchants of the seas. Hence, these converts who call themselves Ashkenazi Jews. The Ashkenazi Jews were into trading people, okay? And so they traded the tribe of Judah, not knowing that they were Judah, but they took them. And so it was the Muslims, the African Muslims of West Africa, that sold the Jews, who are also melanated, dark as they are, as the Hamites. And the people who are not and don't understand this want to call and claim that the African Americans they became slaves because of the curse of Ham, okay, which is not the case. The curse of Ham is totally different than the curse that was given to the tribe of Yehuda, who are Shemites. They can't be Hamites if they're from the tribe of Sham, okay, or from Sham, and being that he was the predecessor. Okay. Craig, you said, no, sir, Africans are not from Judah. So once again, you're making the claim that those who are the true Jews who found themselves in West Africa are Africans. They are not Africans. They are from Judah. Okay. They are from the area that you know today as Israel. The people who are over there in Israel right now are not the true Jews. And I think that's where you're getting mixed up, Craig. All right. So, and this can be all backed up by scripture. Let me show you. See, I don't like to just speak. I like to show. Now, you can do what you want with the information, Craig, and that's going to be up to you and your maker. Okay. But this is another wool that's been pulled over our spiritual eyes, where Satan don't want us to know who the true people are. He wants to destroy the true people. Hence why everything that has been given as the markers for the curse of the people who are of Israel, the true Israelites meet every one of these markers. The false Israelites, or those who call themselves Israelis and Jewish, do not meet any of these markers whatsoever. Explain all this hostility between your people. When you say hostility, like, what do you mean? You're talking about like um, gang warfare? Is that what you're talking about? Like Crips against the Bloods? Is that what you're talking about? Or the gangster disciples against the Blackstones? Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Craig? Explain hostility between your people. The fallen wants to be worshipped in his likeness, and okay, that's something else. I'm staying on point right now. What are you talking about, Craig? What's explain what? This violence between our people? Yeah, what you talking, Craig? What you talking about, Craig? I don't see Craig responding. Okay, so let me just show you, Craig. Oh, Craig, here you are. The hostility that was upon Ishmael. Okay, so again, this is what astonishes me, and this is how I know this is Christian lingo that you're talking about, Craig. Did you know that Yashma'al, who you pronounce as Ishmael or Ishmael, Yashma'al was a follower of the creator Yahuwah? Did you know that? He believed as he was taught by his dad Abraham, Yashma'al. Did you know that? You see, the Christians like to say that Yashma'al is the progenitor of all Muslims, but you know Islam didn't even come about until 600 AD. There was no Islam for all these years. 500 and something years after the Messiah had ascended, here comes Islam onto the scene of the earth. This had nothing to do with Ishmael, but this is what Christianity teaches. Did you know that? But let me show you what the scripture says. You might learn something. Pull up your chair and listen for a second, Craig. Okay, because you, just like the rest of us, we have been indoctrinated. Okay, you only know what you've been told. And now it's time for you to break some of these spells, but I don't know if you have the strength to do so. But we're going to find out. Okay. I hope you do. I hope you open up your understanding to this truth. But let's look at this. Genesis chapter 10. Let's look at this real quick. And this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah, Sham, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, you may know them as Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the sons were born to them after the flood. Now we're going to start off with his firstborn, the sons of Japheth, you may know as Japheth. Gomer, his firstborn, and Magog, Madai, Yawan, Tubal, Meshach, Turas. And the sons of Gomer, which is the firstborn of Japheth, his firstborn was Ashkenaz. Does that sound familiar, Craig? Ashkenaz are the same ones who call themselves Jews and they are not. And they like to peddle around and say that when you say something, even the slightest of saying, you know, you're not the true Jews. Oh, you're anti-Semite. No, I'm just speaking the truth to you, and you don't want to accept it, and you want me to believe that you're something that you're not. You are of the tribe and of the bloodline of Japheth. You even call yourself Ashkenaz. You come around with the furry hats that are all European, and you bring it to the desert of Jerusalem, and you want us to believe that you come from Jerusalem when you're wearing everything that literally tells us that you're from Europe. Not only your skin color, but even your garb talks and speaks against you. Even your so-called Yiddish language, which is not Hebrew, is Germanic. It's a Germanic language. Okay, so let's continue. And it says, and the sons of Yawan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. From these, the coastlands of the people of the nations were separated into their lands. So here you see the word nations for the first time in Genesis. This word, goyim, is speaking of those who are not Yashralim, who are not of Yasharal. These people, the only ones who were given the title nations or Gentiles or goyim in this passage here is the bloodline of Japheth. The Europeans are called Gentiles. Okay, hence why they were still called Gentiles during the times when Shaul, who they changed his name to Paul, when he wrote the letter to the Romans, speaking to the Romans who were Gentiles, not Jews, not those who were of the northern tribe of Israel who became Gentiles, like a lot of the other people would like to talk about this, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother discussion. I don't want to confuse anybody. But the Gentiles are those who are outside of Israelites. So again, there's two terminologies for Gentiles: those who are Japhites, who have been distinguishedly called nations or Gentiles, or those, which is a second definition, anyone who is not Israelites were called Gentiles. But here in chapter 10, the very first time we see in verse 5 where they were called nations, okay? The Ashkenazis are considered Gentiles. Now, notice how important this is, and this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, because you need to see this. Let me show it to you from the King James. It might be easier for your eyes because some of you don't understand what I'm sharing. So I need you to see this with a language that you understand, which I like to call English, the Babylonian language. So here we are in Genesis chapter 10. Let's look at this again. Let's read the same thing, starting from verse 2. And the sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Jawan, Tubal, Meshech, Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, remember, the firstborn of Japheth, the firstborn of Gomer, his firstborn is Ashkenaz. Okay, this is where we get the so-called Ashkenazi Jews. Okay, Ashkenaz. And it says here in verse 5, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue or language, after their families and after their nation. So now let's go to the New Testament that speaks of a prophecy that lets us know that the people that are currently in Jerusalem are not the true Jews. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 21. Now, some of you who might be Jewish, backing Jews, the Jewish people that you are, you stand with Israel, all that nonsense that people be talking about. Okay, well, let's look at this. This is Luke chapter 21. Let's go to verse 24. Notice what it says here. And they, that is the children of Judah, shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive to all nations. There it is, nations. That is to the Gentile, to the Caucasian countries. And Jerusalem, which is the children of Judah, their home, it shall be trodden down by the what? The Gentiles, until when? The times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So let me ask you right now, Jerusalem, we know where Jerusalem is. Don't listen to all these stupid posts that you see. That's not true, Jerusalem. Jerusalem's down in Namibia. Jerusalem's over there by Memphis, Tennessee. Jerusalem's over there in this area or that area, or it's in the middle of the ocean. That's the last one. That's the latest one. I really love that one. But anyways, Jerusalem, the Jerusalem that we know of, who is running Jerusalem right now? It's not the Palestinians. They're not Caucasian. It's not the Jordanians. They're not Caucasian. They're not considered Gentiles. They're all considered Hamites. So who's running Jerusalem right now? Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about the Jewish people, the ones that call themselves Ashkenazi Jews, the ones that come from Khazaria, the one over there today, which is known as Ukraine. Oh, these are the Gentiles. Yes. And they are still trotting down Gentiles to this very day because the time of the Gentiles has not been fulfilled yet. They're still running Jerusalem. This is why the Messiah has told us in Revelation chapter 2, verse 9 and 3, verse 9, this very fact of these people, who they are and what they are identifying themselves as, even though they're not. Now you can take it for what you will, and you can twist it all you want, but it's very clear. I know the blasphemy of those which say that they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Who are these people? Who are these Gentiles that is running Jerusalem right now? Oh, I'm sorry. They're also running Western civilization. They're the same ones who are the synagogue of Satan, the followers of Satan, the one that Satan says that he can give to whomever he wishes all these kingdoms of the earth as long as you bow down and worship me. So what are these Jewish people doing? They're bowing down and worshiping the Baphomet. They're bowing down and worshiping Satan. They call him Lucifer straight out, and they also call him Saturnalia. This is why they have the 6-point cross, the 6-point star. That is the star of Ranfan, like our buddy Chris here, not knowing where that 6-pointed star comes from, hence the number 6, which is indicative of Satan. 666, 6 triangles, 6 points, and 6 on the inside of the pentagram, or I should say the hexagon, which is where we get the term hex. You put a hex on me. Has to do with that, because these are the people of the hexagon. The same ones who are pushing the same thing are the same ones who's running the United Snakes of America, because it's the same people who put this country together are the same people who are the outposts that they call Israel today. It's the same people. These are the so-called 13 families. These are the ones who are running the earth. And if you don't line up with them, they put sanctions on you. If you don't do what they say, they cut you off. If you don't kiss the ring, they don't let you play their games anymore. They don't let you act anymore. They don't let you bank anymore. They don't let you do anything. And the day is going to come where you can't buy, sell, or trade anymore unless you are under their control. These are the ones who are running the world, and they are the followers of Satan. Now, if you don't want to believe that and you want to stick your head in the sand and don't believe that the Jews are running this world, you go by all means, continue on in your little Alice in Wonderland, la la land. And you just go ahead and just keep on believing that everything is going to be fair and everything is going to be okay, because tomorrow it's going to be just like yesterday, right? Not at all. And so this is why you can say anything you want about any other country in this country called the United Snakes of America. But say something about these Jews. Say something about them. They will cut you off with the quickness. And they're going to do it here on YouTube. The only reason why they haven't done it yet is because they want to see who's all making the content that they're making, so they can put you on a label and put you on a list and say, when the time comes, get him. When the time comes, get her. When the time comes, get them. But guess what? Yahuwah always has us 2-3 steps against or ahead of the enemy. So these are the ones who have been falsifying, perpetrating a fraud. They're perpetrating to be the true people, and they're not. They're not, and they know they're not. I'm talking about the ones that are ruling. The ruling class of the Zionists know that they are not the people of the book. And this is why they want to extinguish, they want to obliterate, they want to abolish, they want to demolish and destroy the African Americans. They've been trying to do it, but every time they do it, it's like we just keep multiplying. They've been trying to do this since Egypt. The Egyptians tried the same thing and they failed. And the Jewish people are trying to do it now, and they're going to fail miserably as well. This is why they want all these Planned Parenthoods all near the ghettos, because they want us to unalive our firstborn, especially the boys. This is why they're putting all this smut in our music. They're the ones who's running the music industry, not us. We don't run the industry. They tell us what is going to sell and what's not going to sell. We don't go around bringing cocaine into this country. We don't have no ships and boats to do that. They're the ones who've been doing it, and then they bring it into our neighborhoods and then tell us, here, give it to your people. Why? Because our people are miserable, and they want to be out of the misery, so they want to get high. They want to escape reality by taking these drugs. But again, this all stems from not the white man. This stems from our own people. Our own people put us into this position. Not you. Not the Jewish people. They didn't put us in this position. We put ourselves in this position. And just like always, Yahuwah always uses our enemies to discipline us, to get back in shape, to line back up with him in the truth, with the agreement, the contract, the marriage vow. And so all the things that are the identifying markers of who the true people are, the Jewish people that call themselves Jews and are not, do not meet any of the criteria. They never were sold into slavery. They were never hung. They were never whipped. Don't everybody know they're not the bottom? They're not at the bottom of the totem pole. They're in fact they're just the opposite. They're the head and not the tail. They're first and not the last. They run everything. They help their own people out. But look at us. What do they do of us? We're just as they say, we're nothing but monkeys to them. We're nothing but beasts to them. They make money off of us, and when we're used and abused, they get rid of us just like some prostitutes. And that's what all of our brothers and sisters are doing, playing the sports for these people, getting into politics with these people, getting into the entertainment field with these people. You're going to run into a Stein. You're going to run into a Feld. You're always going to run into them. When you're going up the pole, when you're going up to the top of the chain, you're going to run into one of these Steins and Bergs. And so, yeah, they use us and abuse us. There's a book. Aki Derek, are you here by any chance, Fisher of Men? I was wondering if Aki Derek was here. I guess he's not here. He stopped sending messages? Okay, he must have left. So there's a book. I can't speak of this book here, even on YouTube, but they purposely removed a portion of that book. I can't even share it on here because it's blacklisted. But it's so crazy because I just sent a book to our Aki Derek. I did not know that it wasn't in there until I received mine. He has a softback. I have a hardback. Mine has it. His doesn't. And it blew me away. I'm like, why would they remove it? And I'm like, I'm answering my own question. I know why they removed it, because it has truth in it. They got rid of it. Okay. Oh, JM, I tell you, you are pushing all the extra understanding of what is eschatology of Christianity, the study of end time events according to the Christians. Just like this book that I showed you guys earlier. This guy here, Hal Lindsey, believed that the 10 nations spoken of in the book of Revelation and in the book of Daniel is a 10 European nation, but it's not Europe. It's not Europe. It's bigger than Europe. It's bigger than Europe. It has to do with Rome. Rome has dispersed and is completing its dispersion to the 10 areas that are called the 10 kingdoms, okay? Also known as the Club of Rome. You can look into it. You'll find that it has already been established as 10 kingdoms. They are not 10 European nations, as your Christian pastors, preachers, and teachers of eschatology has taught us. Nazareth, what link are you talking about? And I do need to send you some stuff that you've told me to send to you. I haven't sent to you yet, like the music and stuff. But what are you talking about? What link? Oh, yes. Okay, I definitely will. I will definitely do that. It's them who have possession of the nuclear weapons that have fallen. The fallen angel taught them how to make, etc. Book of Enoch. Yes, JM. But again, you're falling into the same problems that a lot of Christians are doing when you don't know who the true people are of the book. If you believe that the Jews are the mighty ones people over there in Israel right now, your whole eschatology is off. You're using wrong timelines, you're using wrong events, and you're not understanding and clearly seeing the prophecies. Israel, the Jewish state, is not Israel. That is not the completion or the fulfillment of Ezekiel chapter 37, the dry bones prophecy, as so many people like to say, like Jack Van Impe. I don't know if you know Jack Van Impe, but he used to always go, them bones, them dry bones, them bones, them dry bones. And he'd say that, and it was so funny back in those days because I thought he was so, he knew what he was talking about. Then I come to find out he don't know what he's talking about, just like Jack Van Impe don't know what he's talking about. John Hagee don't know what he's talking about. Jonathan Kahn don't know what he's talking about. He ain't nothing but a con man to begin with. Hal Lindsey don't know what he's talking about. Grant Jeffries don't know what he's talking about. Tim LaHaye doesn't know what he's talking about. All of these people have no idea what they're talking about because they're all following the same stupid information that was given to them because of the Schofield Bibles of the so-called what do you call it? Dispensationalism. Okay, that the creator is dealing with man in different stages, in different ways, and they have all these dispensationalism. And right now we're under the dispensation of grace. But nowhere in scripture does it show that. We've always had grace. Even the children of Yasharal had grace because Yahuwah could have destroyed all of them, but he gave them favor. He gave them grace because of the interceding of Masha or Moses on their behalf. And so, again, if you're going to use the wrong analogy or the wrong understanding of prophecy. So again, JM, if you stick around for a little while, you're going to see what the scripture says. Again, we are in the beast system. We've been in the beast system. As far back as we can tell, that goes back to at least 320 AD. From the Council of Nicaea, as it had been accomplished in 325 CE, until now, we are in the beast system. Christianity is the beast system. The name of the beast is Jesus Christ. The image of the beast is the cross, the pagan cross. That cross predates the belief of the Messiah. If you want to believe that it was a torture stake, by all means, believe what you want to believe. But the fact of the matter is, that is an image that speaks against the second commandment in Exodus chapter 20. You are not to make for yourself any graven idols or images of anything in the heavens above, of anything on the earth itself, or anything under the earth. You are not to worship them nor bow down to them. Okay? But this is exactly what we're seeing today in Christianity. Christianity came to understand what the Christians believe is the truth by the doctrines of demons. Satan is the one who has erected Christianity, and Yahuwah has allowed him to do it to see who will be able to make the differentiation by loving the truth or loving the lie. It's for us to choose. Either we're going to follow what Yahuwah has said through obedience, or we're going to follow Christianity through disobedience. Either you're going to be a follower of the law and love him by keeping it, or you're not going to follow the law and show that you do not love him. So it's one or the other. You cannot do both. You cannot speak against the truth and still think that you have salvation. But that's exactly what Christianity is doing. People are speaking against the truth of what they don't know of because they are in the spell. They have been spellbound by Satan and have no idea that they're under the beast system. No, Cree, we're talking about things that are images of religious relics that people use to identify with, that they use it as an identifying marker. Okay. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We're going to talk about later here before I get off. For those of you who wish to spend time with us here in Tribal West, I'll find out from Cody Jennifer and Cody Miria if they're going to still do the Tribal East for the feast days coming up, starting with Passover on April 2nd on the pagan calendar, and April 3rd for the first day of unleavened bread, also known as matzot. We're going to, because space is going to be limited for the Airbnb that we're going to have in the Phoenix area. And so those of you who are wanting to come, you're going to have to fly into Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix, and we will pick you up from the airport. We're going to ask of you guys, because again, we all have to chip in to take care of the Airbnb, for food as well, to come and pick you guys up. It's going to cost us gas. So we're going to have a deposit for each person that's going to come to place your RSVP by sending $100. And we're going to put all this together for those who do that. And the first ones that do this, because we're going to have to cap it, okay, because we can only fit so many people and get so many people into this Airbnb where you have a place to sleep for those days. I think it's going to be 4 days and 3 nights. So from April 1st to April the 4th. So 3 days. Is that 3 nights? 3 nights. Yeah. So, but as we get closer, and I'm going to be making more information of this available on Shabbat coming up, and we'll talk about it. So those of you who are serious and sincere and wanting to come, because we have to know how many people are coming so we can go ahead and schedule to get all that taken care of. So you have your spot where you're going to sleep, you're going to have your food, and we'll pick you up. All you got to do is just get yourself here, be it flying or driving, however you're going to do it. And we'll take care of the rest. And we'll pick you up from the airport. We'll take you back to the airport, but you have to get your own plane ticket. All we're going to take care of is the room and board. That's it, the room and board. Okay. And that would be from your deposit. All right. And so each person who's going to put their deposit down, that's how we'll have your spot available for you. But that will all happen as we get closer. So we're going to probably start taking reservations for that coming up here in the end of the pagan month, January. And so we can get all that solidified so we can go ahead and put the deposit down on the Airbnb. We already know how many people are coming. We can already know how much food that we got to get and all of that, all the logistics stuff. Okay. But anyhow, let's continue. And the only ones, like I said, that we're not going to take anybody's word for it. Oh yes, I'll be there. Nope. Money's going to talk here. So that's what we're going to deal with. If you want to be here, we're going to be asking for $100 deposit. Don't send it to me right now. Okay. Because I got to mark you down. I got to know. And the more people who come, the less it's going to be for all of us. Okay. So let's say if we get an Airbnb, that's $3,000 for those nights all together, then if we have 30 people coming, it'd be $100 a piece. That's going to cover at least the expense for the housing, but we still need to take care of food. We still need to take care of drinks. So again, as more people come and those that we know that are coming, that's going to bring down the cost for each person to where it's going to be more affordable. All right. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. But as far as what we're talking about right now, and again, if we go to Deuteronomy, I didn't think that we were going to talk about this, but I guess we're going to. But let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Now, a lot of people like to claim themselves to be this person, and they like to generalize it and say, well, that's anybody who's obedient and those who are disobedient. Here's the blessings if you're obedient. Here's the cursings if you're disobedient. Yes, you can use it on a personal application, but there's a historical application of Deuteronomy chapter 28 that cannot be refuted. Okay. Now, if you want to think that this can be any group of people, by all means, you can make that application all you want, but there is a historical application to Deuteronomy chapter 28, and it only fits one group of people. All right. This doesn't make them better than you. It doesn't make them superior than you, nor does it make it the opposite that you're superior than them. This is just identifying who these people are and who Yahuwah had made the contract with, the agreement with, and what has happened to these people and why these people find themselves in the position that they find themselves in, no matter where they are, generally speaking, as a people, generally speaking, how they're treated generally by other people. Okay. Yeah, you have a few that are in-house Negroes. They're doing very well for themselves because they have become like the Gentiles, like your Beyoncés and your Jay-Z's and your Obamas and some of the other people. Okay, they're doing very well for themselves, but they sold out. They sold out. They're not one of us. Because if they were one of us, they would be doing exactly and dealing with what we're dealing with. But they're on a different pedestal. They're in a different class. They're for entertainment purposes. They're for ruling party purposes. They've been put into position of where they're at because these other people called the Jewish people have placed them in these places of prominence. And that's why they're there to influence the rest of us of their kind. So people who are listening to Jay-Z music is to place us and to be influenced by his lyrics. Beyonce's music, her music is to place us under her influence for the sisters. And so this goes on and on. The same thing happens through all society. And it isn't until we wake up and to realize that we cannot be swayed by all these people who are governing our actions, and we take back our sovereignty that has been given to us, that are our rights by the Creator himself, Yahuwah, then we start to recognize who we are as the kings and priests that we're supposed to be. But until you see that, or until you're able to recognize that, you're still in the beast system. You're still under enslavement. And it's all because of what the Roman Catholic Church has done. Like I was sharing the other day, you can see it every year during New Year's Eve when you watch the countdown all across the globe on CNN. Hence, here I use the word globe, just showing the influence that I had from what I was taught. You was taught very well in elementary school, son, calling the earth a globe. It's a flat plane, by the way. But anyways, and so this is what they have done to our mindset. So let's look at this. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Starting at verse 1. And it shall be, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Alua Elohim, to guard, or that is to say, to keep, to do all his commands or commandments, which I command you today, that Yahuwah, your mighty one, shall set you high above all the nations of the earth. Right here, he's not talking to all the earth. He's not talking to everyone in the world. He's talking to one people and one particular people only, and that is Yasharal. That is Israel, as you may know it in the translation of how you pronounce it. Yasharal is the original. Yasharal were the only ones who were given the agreement. It was between them and Yahuwah at the foot of Mount Sinai. If you do this, I will be your mighty one, and you will be my people. If you don't do this, I will be your enemy, and I shall destroy you. This is what we're reading. And all these barakah shall come upon you and overtake you if, the big word here is if you obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Alua Alahim, your mighty of mighty ones. Baruch are you in the city, Baruch you are in the field. Baruch is the fruit of your body, and Baruch is the ground and the fruit of your livestock, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. Now, I don't know about you, but not too many of us have farmland, have these so-called farm animals, but our ancestors did. Our ancestors did. And it even talks about how our men and women, when they have children, they're not going to have issues of procreating. They shall pop out babies like no problems. Baruch is your basket and your kneading bowl. Baruch are you when you come out, when you come in, and Baruch when you go out. Now, when I was in Christianity, the pastor that I was under at the time, he would read this as to say, when you give your seed, when you give your tithes, this is what's going to happen to you. And he would pronounce this over the whole congregation. Blessed are you coming in and blessed are you going out. Why? Because you done gave him some money. You done made him happy. You done gave the pimp some money. So he gonna bless you. But he blessing you just like a witch would bless you. But he's a warlock, a wizard. That's why he wears a business suit. Ain't got nothing to do with us. Yahuwah causes your enemies who rise against you to be smitten before your face. They come out against you one way and flee before you in 7 ways. Yahuwah commands a barakah on you and your storehouses, and in all to which you set your hand, and shall baruch you in the land which Yahuwah your mighty one is giving you. In the land which the mighty one is giving us. Yahuwah does establish you as a set apart people unto himself, as he has sworn to you, if you guard the commandments of Yahuwah, your Alua Alahim, and walk in his way. So now let me stop right there. Now let's talk about these Jewish people, and let me cover this up real quick. Most of those people, not all, but most of those people, they don't believe in the Messiah. They don't keep his commandments. They don't know who he is. In fact, they use their Talmud and they say that he is boiling in hot excrement. These are the people that Christians are paying all kinds of money, that they're supporting Israel and say that they are with Israel and they stand with Israel. These people are faking the fraud. They lying about the lies. They are not the people of the book. They are not the ones. They are not the tail. They are the head right now. They do not accept the Messiah. And you think that the Creator is going to bless them? Let me just use the words that we all use right now in Babylon. You think that he is going to bless those people who have not accepted his image, who died on their behalf, if they are truly the people? And yet they're doing so well in so many economic regions of the earth. They run everything. We talked about this already. How is it that they don't have any of the curses for not believing the Messiah? So then what is the Messiah to those of us who are supposedly Christians and we believe this Messiah figure that these Jewish people then gave us and call him Yeshua? And most of you call him Jesus. How does that make sense? Make that make sense. They have denied the Messiah and yet they're flourishing on this earth. Something doesn't make sense here. Why do they run everything? And yet they deny the Messiah? What benefit is it to know the Messiah if you're going to be able to be blessed in this world by not knowing him? Something isn't adding up. But you'll go ahead and give the excuse, oh, they're blessed because they are God's chosen people. You better go read your Old Testament again, because I saw every time that they did not obey, Yahuwah put some harshness on them. He did not play around. He did not like disobedience. And there's a whole lot of disobedience going on in Israel right now. In fact, the largest gay parade is in Israel. Did you know that? The largest gay parade. You would think it'd be in San Francisco. Nope. It's in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv, Israel. Look it up. Look it up. But you think that Yahuwah is just going to let them do that and let them slide and say, you know what? You my people. Go on and keep doing the gay thing. I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. I'll deal with you later on a personal level. But go ahead, do your thing. You really think he's dealing with them like that? You think he's going to allow all those people who are in prominent positions, I don't have to name no names, go around screwing little kids, selling them on the black market, and you think Yahuwah is just going to allow them to do that, and they can go over there and hide out over there in that area called Israel with no problems, no issues, no consequences and repercussions because they're his people? Kind of don't make sense now, does it? But let's continue. Yahuwah commands the barakah on you in your storehouses and all to which you set your hand, and shall bless you in the land which Yahuwah your Alua Elohim is giving you. Right here in this verse 8, you're saying that Yahuwah is doing that for these people. They're in the land. He's blessed their storehouses, even though Fox News would like you to have to believe that, oh, the Jewish people are so poor. Why don't you give some money? Because the Jewish, look at this old lady, this old Jewish lady. She's over here begging for food. Go ask Netanyahu and some of these rich billionaires all over the world with the word Stein and Berg and all these other people who are your people. Have them give you some money. Why are you coming and taking from the poor who already don't have any and you're asking us to give more? Just straight leeching us out of everything that we have. Just taking us for everything that we got. Come on now. Let's continue. And all the peoples of the earth shall see that the name of Yahuwah is called upon you, and they shall be afraid of you. Again, these are these Jews. The true Jews are afraid of the fake Jews. Like I can't even say his name right. Kyrie Irving. I said his name all wrong. Sorry, Kyrie, if you're listening. Not that you would, but sorry about that. Kyrie Irving kissed the ring. Nick Cannon kissed the ring. I don't agree with a lot of things that Kanye West says, but he didn't kiss the ring. Hence why he ain't in that prominent position anymore. And Adidas took away all the money that they had. Something like what, $1.5 billion overnight? Just took it from him. Who's the people? Jewish people. Why? Because he's exposing the Jewish people. He says, look at all these people who run everything in entertainment. The top of Paramount, Jewish. Warner Brothers, Jewish. DreamWorks, Jewish. Pixar, Jewish. NBC, Jewish. Fox News, Jewish. I mean, the list goes on and on. They run everything. But you Christians are so dumb that you can't see it. Oh, now you want to get all in your feelings because I said you're so dumb. No, take that fire and wake up. Wake up. Smell the coffee. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Stop getting all of yourself tied up into these lies. And Yahuwah, verse 11, shall make you to have plenty of what is great in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your livestock, and in the fruit of the ground, and in the land of which Yahuwah swore to your fathers to give you. Yahuwah opens to you his great treasures of the Shamaim, to give you the rain to your land in its season, and to barak all the works of your hand. And you shall lend to many nations, but you do not borrow. Again, right there. These Jewish people are doing exactly that. And they don't even profess the Messiah. But they are lending out. But they're not the ones who are borrowing. We're the ones who's borrowing. How many of you have credit cards and you're upside down in payments? And guess who it is that you owe that money to? It's not to the banks. It's to the bank families. It's to these Rothschilds, these Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Mellons, the JP Morgans, all of these people who are Jewish Zionists. 13. And Yahuwah shall make you the head and not the tail, and you shall only be on top and not beneath, if you only obey the commandments of Yahuwah your mighty one, which I command you today to guard, to do. And do not turn aside from any of these words which I am commanding you today, not to the right nor to the left, to go after any of the other mighty ones and to serve them. And it shall be, if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Alua Elohim, and to guard and to do all his commandments of his laws, which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. And then we go down the bullet points. Now we're going into the cursings. Let's see. Let's see who meets these cursings. Because apparently the Jewish people, the 1948ers, that call themselves Israelis, they seem to be fulfilling this side of the blessings. So my question is, if they are truly God's chosen people, is the Creator lying to us? We've accepted his son. They haven't accepted his son. So why are they flourishing and the rest of us are not flourishing? We're trying to do what he's called us to do. We believe in the son. We've been calling him Jesus. We don't follow the commandments. Yeah, we don't follow the commandments. We don't keep any of his high days, but these Jewish people are doing all of that. These Jewish people have been given the land. These Jewish people are keeping these so-called high days, even though they corrupt them. These Jewish people are reading the Torah and the Tanakh, but these Jewish people don't acknowledge the Son. The Creator says that when he sends his prophet among us, we are to listen to him. He says, because my words are in his mouth and he comes in my name. Well, these so-called Jewish people have not accepted this so-called prophet. They haven't so-called accepted his anointing one, the Mashiach. No, they speak bad of him. And yet they get all of these blessings. And those of us who are Christians, who've been calling ourselves Christians, believing in the Messiah, who we've been calling the Christ, but we have been following some false doctrines, like the law has been done away with, like his name has been changed, calling him by different titles, following different high days, holidays. So let's read these curses. Cursed are you in the city, cursed are you in the field. Cursed is your basket and kneading bowl. Cursed is the fruit of your body and the fruit of your land and the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flocks. Cursed are you when you come in and cursed are you when you go out. The total opposite, the antithesis, thank you, of the opposite of everything on the totally opposite side of the spectrum of what these Jewish people are doing. They're getting this. We're not getting this. Why aren't we getting this? Well, let's continue. Yahuwah sends on you the curse, the confusion, the rebuke, and all that you set your hand to do until you are destroyed, until you perish quickly, because the evil of your doings by which you have forsaken me, forsaken him. But wait a minute, these Jewish people, haven't they forsaken the Son? The only brought forth one from the Messiah? From the Creator, Abba Yahuwah? Yes, they did. And yet he's still going to barak them. He's going to bless them. Something ain't adding up. Yahuwah makes the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. What? Wait a minute. If we're disobedient, like not following the Messiah, one of the curses is you're going to no longer possess the land. Well, what about these Jewish people? They don't even accept the Messiah who came in the flesh. And they get to possess the land. Something ain't adding up here. Something ain't making sense. Yahuwah strikes you with the wasting disease and with inflammation and with burning and with extreme heat and with the sword and with blight and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish. And your heavens, which you are over your head, shall be bronze to you, and the earth, which is under you, iron. And Yahuwah makes rain of your land powder and dust from the heavens. It comes down on you until you are destroyed. Yahuwah causes you to be defeated before your enemies. You go out one way and against them and flee 7 ways before them, and you shall become a horror to all the reigns of the earth. And your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the earth, with no one to frighten them away. And Yahuwah shall strike you with boils of Mitzrayim of Egypt, with tumors, with scab, with the itch, from which you are unable to be healed. Unable to be healed. You know, like it says, inflammation. Yep, that's high blood pressure, arthritis, all that stuff, sickle cell anemia, all that stuff. It is literally put into our DNA, family. Those of you who are of so-called African American, Negro, Black descent, it's in our DNA. It is hereditary. Why? Because of the curse, because of disobedience. Yahuwah shall strike you with madness and with blindness and bewilderment of heart. And you shall be groping at noon as blind man gropes in darkness and not prosper in your ways. And you shall be only oppressed, plundered all the days with no one to save you. Here we are. Look at our people, generally speaking. I'm not talking about the ones that made it out. The ones who became like the heathens and the pagans, like I was saying earlier about the Beyonce's types and the Jay-Z types. No, I'm talking about the little guy and the little woman and those who are under welfare and those who are having under EBT and they can't get a job because of the color of their skin or maybe because of their upbringing, because there was no father in their home. So they out there buck wild and don't know how to conduct themselves, getting locked up, being torn apart, being unalived. All of this because they have no one to guide them, and the mothers can't do it because they can only handle so much, and they're raising these kids all by themselves, and they out there doing the most extreme things. This is all part of the curse. But not to the Jewish children. They're not unaliving their kids. They're not getting their fetuses aborted. They're making sure their kids go to the best prominent schools to learn about how they balance their checkbooks and how to deal with growing their credit cards and getting their credit FICA scores up. Not in the black family homes. None of that is happening. They're trying to figure out how many rocks they're going to sell on the corner, how many weed joints that they're going to have, how they going to sip on the gin all night, gin and juice. This is all part of our curse. You become engaged to a wife, but another man does lie with her. You build a house, but not to dwell in. You plant a vineyard, but do not use its fruit. This right here happened to our people when they went into West Africa. They thought they were going to escape the curse by leaving the land. So they go to West Africa, to this area that seems so fertile. They're foreigners in a foreign land. They might look like them, but they speak differently with different cultures and customs, following or trying to follow the commandments, the Torah. And these Hamites see them being different. And they're following a different law, different days, different calendar. And when the opportunity struck, they sold him off to the white man. And so what do our white man books tell us? Oh, your own kind sold you off. And they're trying to say because we all had dark skin, that's our same people. This is why I keep saying about those who know the difference. A Chinese person can see the difference between a Korean in themselves or a Japanese in themselves. But somebody who's a foreigner looks at all of them and say, oh, they're Asians. They're all Chinese. The Koreans will take that and be like, that was derogatory. You're trying to claim that we're all the same because we all have this kind of look. But the Koreans know what the Chinese look like, and the Japanese know what the Koreans look like. But the foreigner who's outside, he just sees all these people with slanted eyes and say they're all Chinese when they're not all Chinese. And so it's the same thing that they're saying about the Hamites and the Shemites, that they all look the same, but they're not the same. There is distinctions and differences. If you only get to look a little bit into them and see the difference, not only by the language that they speak, but even facial features, the shape of the head, the shape of the nose, the shape of the lips. You start to see differences, but not if you're not looking for it, because you're just going to become prejudiced and look at all of them as, oh, they're just all black. They're all Hamites. It's all part of the curse. Your ox is slaughtered before your eyes, but you do not eat it. Your donkey is violently taken before you, and it is not given back to you. Your sheep are given to your enemies with no one to save them. All of this again was when they were in West Africa, and they took all this stuff from them as they were removing the tribe of Yehuda out of West Africa. Your sons and your daughters are given to another people. I wonder who the other people are. Your Portuguese, your Spaniards, your Brits, your Frenchmen. That's what it's talking about here. And your eyes look and fail for them all day long, and your hands are powerless. You can't do nothing. You're watching them all getting taken away. A people of whom you have not known, eat the fruit of your land and all your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed all the days. This right here is when they started working on the plantations. They started working for the man. All the work that they're doing with their hands, all that back-breaking work that they're doing, they don't get to eat none of that. They don't get to prosper off of all of that. Nope. They're slaves. They're working for the man. A people whom you have not known, eat the fruit of your land and all your labors. And you shall be only oppressed and crushed all the days. This is exactly what has happened to the so-called African American, the Negroes, the blacks. This hasn't happened to the Jewish people. They've never been in this position, ever, ever. They were not the Hebrews of past times that was there, that was under the enslavement of the Pharaoh. That wasn't them. There was no Caucasians over there being enslaved by the Egyptians. The Egyptians are Hamites. They're melanated. They're dark. You can even see it on their hieroglyphics, even the ones that they whitewashed. This is why they break all the noses off the statues. They don't want you to see that they have a Negro or a black nose, because the nose is very, very keen to be an identifier marker for people and usually where they come from. So they broke it off so you can't understand. They're hiding history. That's why they went and they chiseled off the noses out of Egypt, so they can get you to believe that the Egyptians were olive color or white skinned, when Egyptians come from Ham, and all of Ham are dark melanated people, dark as dark can be. And you shall be maddened because of the sight which your eyes see. Yahuwah strikes you in the knees and on the legs with evil boils, of which you are unable to be healed, and from the sole of your foot to the top of your head. Yahuwah brings you and the sovereign whom you set over you to a nation which neither your fathers have not known, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. Verse 36 tells us a lot. First of all, notice this. Yahuwah brings you, talking about the children of Yasharal, and the king whom you have set over you, to a people which neither your fathers have not known. Abraham don't know these people. Isaac don't know these people. Jacob don't know these people. Who are we talking about? We're talking about these Caucasians who are going to snatch them up from the west coast of Africa and take them to a nation that none of them have known. This is not old Egypt. This is a totally different Egypt, a symbolic Egypt, to be back in a house of bondage. Notice what it says here. And there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. There's your Christianity and Islam. Wood is the wooden cross. Stone is the Kaaba stone. And this is what happened to the black men and women of Yasharal. that came here as African Americans. They either became Christians or they became Muslims. Wood and stone. Now, what about these Jewish people? They didn't do that. That didn't happen to them. Let's continue. Thus you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which Yahuwah drives you. Now, I've told you guys of my experience being a half and half. I'm a half breed. I've seen it from my Asian side, and I've also seen it from my black side of those who are supposed to be Hebrews, those who are supposed to be of the tribe of Yehuda. I wasn't black enough for my Akis and Akodis who are of the nation, who are of the true Israelites. Not all of them. I'm just saying that I have seen that with my own eyes, heard it with my own ears, how I am not dark enough for them. I'm not black enough for them. So sometimes I would overcompensate with my language to let them know I am one of you, just to want to be accepted. This is when I was younger. I'm not like that now, but that's the way I used to be. Because I wanted to fit in with my people. Even though we were at the bottom of the totem pole, I still wanted to be in with my people, knowing that that was my descent. That's where I come from. I can relate, but they couldn't relate with me. Not all of them, but again, some of them. And then from my my Korean side, I see how we were a byword to them, calling me all kinds of Korean words that are of the vulgarity of those words, and they didn't know that I can speak Korean or understand somewhat Korean. Let me put it that way. Because as you know, the first thing that we learn about other languages are the bad words, right? Well, I remember the bad words, and they would say bad things when they're describing me or my brother or my sister, or they're just talking about the blacks, and I hear them talking about the blacks, and that would offend me. It would make me feel bad. And they're saying it in Korean. And I had to check my mom because my mom was in on it with them, talking about how, black people are bad and all this stuff. I was like, Mom, you married two different black men. And now you're going to talk about black men like this and black people like this, as we use the word. Oh, no. I was like, Mom, just as there's bad blacks, there's bad Koreans too. You got good and bad in all kinds of people. Okay. Don't just block us all up into one group and say all black people are bad. We're not all bad, Mom. The men that you married, were they bad? That's how you got me and my brother and sister. So we become a proverb, and they call us bad names all over the world in their languages. They all have one for us. We're not going to get into it, but you know what I'm talking about. You take much seed out into the field, but gather little in, for the locust consumes it. You plant vineyards and shall labor, but you neither drink of the wine nor gather, for the worm eats it. You have olive trees in all your border, but do not anoint with oil, for your olives drop off. You bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, for they go into captivity. Children sold off. Locusts possess all your trees and the fruit of your ground. The foreigner, the sojourner who is among you rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower. Once again, this is an identifying marker of what's happening right here in the great old United States of America. Let me give you a prime example. Here we have our ancestors have built by their hands and feet and their backs this country called the United Snakes of America. That's what I call it anyways. They've been talking about all this reparations, this and reparations, that, right? No reparations, no 40 acres and a mule, not for us. No, can't do that. An Iranian comes over here. Oh, and he gets a gas station. He gets a 7-Eleven. A person from Vietnam comes over here and they get a grocery store. Some of these Europeans come over here and they get to start a hotel chain. Well, what about us? How is it that these foreigners who didn't even come here before us, how is it that they have passed and surpassed us. It's right here. It's right here. The sojourners, the foreigners who are among you, rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower. And that's exactly what we see here in the United States of America. If you see it any differently, please tell me. Please tell me. And we're talking about generally speaking. We're not talking about the one and two that are the occasional difference. No, we're talking about generality speaking, general purposes. This is how it usually is. Okay. People come from other countries, just like my Korean side. They come over here. And yes, some of them hustle and bustle. I'm not saying that they don't work hard for what they get. I'm not saying that. But the opportunities to get that loan, they'll give that federal loan will go to that foreigner before it goes to a melanated so-called African American. We got to jump through more hoops. Some of you who don't know that, you're going to say, you're still over here talking about slavery and white man did this, white. No, the system is built differently for us. It just is. And you won't know that unless you understand what is being said to us here. This is part of the curse. This is what Yahuwah has done. He's put this in the hearts of these people to do this to us. That's what you're not recognizing. That's what these Jewish people don't have on us. These Jewish people were used against us, and Yahuwah did this to provoke us to jealousy, as it says in the word. He used these people to provoke us to jealousy, to make us angry, to make us look at them and say, oh man, you done took our identity. You done stole everything who we are. And that's exactly what Yahushua says I will do. I will take and I will remove this kingdom from you, and I'm going to give it to another people. And that's what he did. He gave it to these fake Jewish people, the Ashkenazi Jews, the Sephardic Jews. And they've taken on our prominent position, and they've called themselves to be us. Let's continue. And all these curses, let me back up. He lends to you, but you do not lend to him. He is the head. You are the tail. Again, speaking of these bankers. Who are the bankers? Jewish people. They're the ones who run all of this. They're the ones who's running the Federal Reserves. All the federal central banks and all these Western countries are being ran by them. And you can go all the way back to the days of Rothschild. Ethel Rothschild, when he decided to have his sons become the head of banks all throughout Europe, this started what we know as the modern banking system, which is still here to this very day. And now they're getting ready to change it to an unmarked, what we call the mark of the beast, but it's unmarked bills anymore. It's all going to be cashless. They're getting ready to take us into that. The same people who are in charge of all of this AI, digital IDs with AI technology. Yep. The Peter Thiels, he's Jewish. What's the guy who runs Facebook? I can't remember his name, but he's Jewish. Elon Musk, Jewish. I can't even think of the other guy, but they run it all. OpenAI, all of that. They're all Jews. They're all Jews. What are the odds of them running all of this stuff, people? Come on, man. Think of it for just a second. Let's just think about this. What if every one of these sectors was ran by a black man or a black woman? You guys would all start looking at it the same and be like, dang, why is it only they folks? Why is it only them that's at the top? Why are they running everything? So now we're saying the same thing about these Jewish people. Why are they at the top? Why are they running everything? How is it that they go from these so-called gas chambers in Second World War and they run everything on the earth? How is that possible? It's because they've been running it. They've been running it. And they use their own people as cannon fodder. They used them as the scapegoat to why they needed to move themselves over to the Middle East, over there into the land of Palestine, and call themselves God's chosen people, calling themselves fulfilling the book. This ain't nothing but Satan. This is Satan working through these people, hence the followers of Satan. They're the synagogues of Satan. And all these curses shall come upon you, and they shall pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Alua Elohim, to guard his commandments and his laws, which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and on your seed forever. This is why we know who are the true people of the book, because all these curses were going to be identifying markers to let the rest of the people know, including ourselves, who we are. These curses shall follow you. They shall follow you. Now, put these same curses upon these Jews. Let's see if they meet any of these identifying markers. They don't. They have all the identifying markers of the blessings and not the cursings. We, on the other hand, have all the cursings. That is not by accident. That is not by accident. It was our people who unalived the Messiah, not those fake Jews. They aren't the ones who unalived the Messiah. It was our people who unalived the Messiah, the true Jews. We were the ones that said to him, to Pontius Pilate, let his blood be upon us and our children. Let me show you this. This is what caused this curse that we're reading about in Deuteronomy chapter 28. To the Ata, Akudi Jackie C. Love you, Akudi. To the Ata, to the Ata. So here we see this. And the governor answering and said to them, which of the two do you wish I release to you? This is Matthew chapter 27, verse 21. They said, Barabbas. Barabbas. Bar meaning son, Abba meaning father. Pilate said to them, what then shall I do with Yahusha, who is called the Messiah? And they, that is the true Jews, not the Jewish people. These are the true melanated black African Americans who are from the tribe of Judah. Our ancestors said, let him be impaled. And the governor said, indeed, what evil has he done? And they cried out all the more, saying, let him be impaled. And when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but rather an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hand before the crowd and said, I am innocent of the blood of this righteous one. You see it. You see to it. And all the people answering, and here it goes, said, his blood be upon us and our children. We placed a curse upon ourselves. Let his blood be upon us and our children. This brought about what we're reading in Deuteronomy chapter 28, starting at verse 15 all the way to verse 68. Because you did not serve Yahuwah your Alua Elohim with joy and gladness of heart, for all the plenty you shall serve your enemies whom Yahuwah sends against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in need of all. And he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Wait a minute, another identifier marker. What Jewish people do you know of that had yokes of iron on their necks? You ever seen a picture of any Jewish people? I'm talking about the whole family, the generation of Jews, all ball and chain, shackled up, got bells on their necks, a yoke on their neck. You never saw one. You never saw one because they're not the people of the book. They're not the people of the book. Yahuwah shall bring a nation against you from afar, from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle's flies, a nation whose language you shall not understand. Oh, you mean like Portuguese? You mean like French? You mean like English? You mean like Spanish? Exactly. Why? Because we speak Hebrew. We speak Abrit, not Aramaic. like you white tea folks want us to believe through your theological seminary schools, got us all trying to believe and had us believing that we spoke Aramaic. We are not from Assyria. We're Hebrew through and through. Stop trying to change the storyline. They come with fierce-looking people, which shall show no regard to the elderly, no show favor to the young, and they shall eat the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your land until you are destroyed. They leave you no grain, nor new wine, nor oil, nor increase of your cattle, nor offspring of your flocks, until you have been destroyed. And they shall besiege you at all your gates till your high and fenced walls in which you are trusting in come down in all your land, and they shall besiege you at all your gates in all your land which Yahuwah your Alua Elohim has given you. When did this happen? 70 AD. When their land was taken from them, when they fled Jerusalem, when they fled into Western Europe and Western Africa. Verse 52, and they shall besiege you at all your wall and gates and high. Oh, I already read that one. Let's go to verse 53. And you shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom Yahuwah your mighty one has given you in the siege and the distress in which your enemies distress you. What did they do? Go back and look at the last stand of Masada. Look it up. Masada. Masada. These were true Jews who held out. They were the last holdout as the Romans were pillaging Jerusalem and was trying to wipe out all the melanated blacks from there. Because again, we're talking about Caucasians, and it was easy to identify who was not their color. They can tell a Jew from a mile away, and they was trying to take them out. And they did take them out. And some of these people who was on the top of Masada, because they were cut off, they ran out of food, they ran out of water. What did they start doing? Eating children. Our people became cannibals. And then they unalived one another so that they would not fall victim and go into servitude by the Romans. They ended up they started unaliving each other. Let's continue. The man among you who is tender and who is very delicate, his eyes is evil against his brother, against the wife of his bosom, and against the rest of his children whom he leaves behind, against giving any of them the flesh of his children that he eats, because it is all that has been left to him in the siege and the distress in which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. Like I said, read about Masada. That wasn't the only holdout, but read about it. You'll see this is what they were doing. And our people, because they did not accept the Messiah, most of them, they unalived the Messiah and said, let his blood be upon us and our children. Yahuwah was like, okay, that's what's going to happen. Just like what you guys did to me, it's going to happen to the whole nation. Like I said earlier, you give me over to the Gentiles, I'm giving you over to the Gentiles. They whip me, they're going to whip you. They hung me, they're going to hang you. That's what they did. This is exactly what happened. We did it to him, so he did it to us. Revenge is his, says Yahuwah. Revenge is his. You can't be a better avenger than Yahuwah. He says he shall repay us to our face for what we have done. This is why we need to get back in line with him and stop listening to all this Christian semantics of, oh, all you got to do is believe and confess with your mouth and believe in your heart and you're saved. It doesn't work like that. You better stop it. This is why so many of us was in Christianity. This is why so many of us came out, and there's many of you that are still in it. You better wake up and smell that coffee. You better know what is being brewed. Verse 56, the tender and the delicate woman among you, who has not tried to set the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicateness and tenderness. Her eye is evil against the husband of her bosom, and against her son, and against her daughter, and against her seed which comes out from between her feet, and her children whom she bears, for she eats them in secret for lack of all, in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. If you do not guard to do all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this esteem and awesome name of Yahuwah your Alua Elohim, then Yahuwah shall bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and lasting plagues, grievous and lasting sicknesses, and he shall bring back on you all the diseases of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. They will cling to you. So what is this awesome name, Yahuwah, that we don't want to speak? Just like a lot of you who are Christians, you don't want to speak his name. You want to keep calling him by these pagan titles, Lord and God. There's a lot of lords and there's a lot of gods. Which one are you calling on? Make it plain. Make it clear. Come to know his name. It is Yahuwah, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not Yehovah. It is Yahuwah. Put some respect on it, please. Verse 62, and you shall be left with few men, although you had become as numerous as the stars of the Shamaim, because you did not obey the voice of Yahuwah your mighty one. And it shall be that as Yahuwah rejoiced over you to do righteousness and increase you, so Yahuwah does rejoice over you to destroy you and lay you waste. And you shall be plucked up from off the land which you go to possess. Notice that. He's telling this to the children of Yashral before they even went into the promised land at the time of the reading and the writing of this book called Dabarim or Deuteronomy. They haven't even entered into the promised land yet. They didn't cross over the Jordan yet. That doesn't happen until we read into the book of Joshua, which is actually the book of Yahusha. He's already telling them, this is what's going to happen to you guys. You're going to lose this land because of your disobedience for not following my law. And Yahuwah, verse 64, shall scatter you among the peoples. This right here is the wilderness of the peoples, right here. Ezekiel chapter 22. I shall scatter you among all the peoples, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known. So that means that we're serving something different, something new that none of us know. Not what the Messiah taught. No, we're going to learn something new. What's that new? What's that new? It's called Christianity. It's the one that the Roman gave you. The Roman Empire gave you Christianity, serving wood and stone. That's what we did. Islam and Christianity. Again, the old rugged cross, that's the wood, and the Kaaba stone, that's Islam. And among those nations, you are to find no rest, nor have any resting place for the sole of your foot. But there, Yahuwah shall give you a trembling heart and a failing eyes and sorrow of being. Before our generation, go back before the 60s. Look back at our ancestors, how they carried themselves here in white America. They weren't proudful and boastful like you see a lot of our youngsters today, walking around sagging and all that. Nope, they wasn't walking around like that back in them days. Them white men and them white women was quick. They was on you, putting you back into subjection, letting you know where you stand in this class of people. You are the tail and not the head. This is why they were fighting for so-called civil rights, because at that time they were swift on our people. Get out of line in their society and see what happened. But you see, liberalism took effect. The next generation of people that came up who saw how their parents was treating the blacks, they was like, oh no, this is the time of us to be all free-spirited. Still was a whole lot of, closet racists But you had those who were all about this freedom movement, this spiritual movement. And in the morning, you would say, oh, that I wish it was evening. And at evening, oh, I wish it was morning. I used to say this literally in my brain when I was in prison. I literally would say that, man, I'm so tired of this. I can't wait, man. I wish it was nighttime already. And then as soon as it was nighttime, I was like, man, I wish it was daytime. I can't wait for tomorrow. It'll be one more day that I can say was done. I can mark off my calendar, getting one day closer to home. Because of the fear of your heart in which you fear, and because of the sight of your eyes that you see. And here's 68, this famous passage. And Yahuwah shall bring you back to Mitzrayim in ships, by a way which I said to you, you are never to see it again, and there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one to buy you, or as to say, redeem you from being enslaved. That's what it's talking about. Just like it was back in the days, it used to be a written rule that you can buy someone their freedom out of servitude or out of enslavement. So like if you was a slave in the old Roman Empire, I could literally buy you. I can buy your freedom. You see it in the movie Gladiator. They tell you about it in there. Buy your freedom. Well, here in the Americas, ain't nobody buying your freedom. You were brought here for a purpose. You were brought here to be disciplined. You were brought here to be chastised. You were brought here to live out the curses of the ancestors. But look now. Nobody of the Jewish people who call themselves Jews and are not, none of them have been put in this position ever. They were the ones who were running these ships, not the other way around. You see? None of us, of our people, had these ships selling our people to the Americans, or to the Americas, I should say, to the Spanish and to the Portuguese and to the French and to the Brits. We were the commodity. They were the masters. This is the truth. This is what we're living right now. This is another reason why we know we're not in so-called Satan's little season of Tartaria and all these other things that these people who are talking about this, because they don't understand prophecy, nor do they understand history. Because if they understood history and prophecy, they would never make the claim that they're making, that we're in Satan's little season, because they would understand where we are on the timeline and of the scope of all things. This is why you're seeing the awakening of the true Israelites. This is why you're seeing why you Gentiles are now coming to become part of Yasharal, because you are no longer Gentiles. You have clung on to Yasharal, and you have been grafted into Yasharal, and now you are Yasharal. That's a beautiful thing. This is that time. And so many of our people, I'm talking about of those that are of the melanated persuasion. I'm talking about those who have been called African Americans, those who have been called Negroes, those who have been called Black, who are the true tribes of Yasharal. Their eyes are opening up, but many of them are still under the spell, just like a lot of you Gentiles are still under the spell of Christianity. As my dad used to say, and he probably got it from somewhere else, that the most segregated time in America is on Sunday. The most segregated time in all of America is on Sunday. You want some proof? You got Spanish churches. You got Black churches. They don't call them white churches, but you got white churches. You got Filipino churches. You got Ethiopian churches. You got all kinds of churches of people going into their corners to be whatever it is with their languages, separating the body. But these are supposed to be the body of the Messiah, right? And not at all. Not at all. Because see, the true body of believers, those who know this truth, we're one body. We're not separated. We're not segregated. Even our Spanish speaking brothers and sisters, they're one with us and we're one with them. Our Austrian brothers and sisters who are from Austria, like one of our Aki, Stanko is his name. He preaches the same message to his people in their dialect, in their own language, but he's still one of us. He doesn't separate himself from us. But look at Christianity. Every Sunday, segregated to their corners of their areas. And so we just went down a journey, reading Deuteronomy chapter 28, speaking of who the true people are and who are not, and how ones can be grafted in and those who are not. This is the true truth. This is the history. Now, you don't have to accept it. You can continue to believe that everybody who's melanated are cursed as Ham. But even those of the Hamites are African brothers and sisters who are coming into this truth. The curse has been lifted. The curse has been lifted on his people. But these people are still carrying on their agenda, so the curses continue. And Yahuwah is going to deal with those who are still continuing the curse that he has lifted. He said that it was going to last for 400 years. 2019 was the end of the curse. He said he was going to judge the nation that did this to his people. That nation is the United Snakes of America. This nation has been marked for destruction. This is Mystery Babylon as the country itself. There are many applications to things that you see in prophecy. The beast system is more than just the United Snakes of America, but the United Snakes of America has Yahuwah's people in it, for the most part. This is why the awakening started here, because his people are here. Not that they're nowhere else, but this is where the nation that brought them into this servitude, who brought them into this enslavement, he said he's going to judge that nation, because that is the same nation that has taught the rest of the world how to deal with us, how to destroy us, and how they were going to make us lower class citizens. It's from this country. And here it is. You have Christians who like to use this passage all the time. Let's go there. Let's go to 2 Chronicles. Let's read this. Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. And my people upon whom my name is called shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their evil ways. Then I shall hear from the Shamayim and forgive their sin and heal their land. You know how stupid we are as Negroes going into these Christian churches, and we say this, and we call ourselves pronouncing this over ourselves as Christians and not as the true Nazarene that we are of the children of Yasharal. We think that this healing the land is the United Snakes of America or your city or state, or if you live in Texas because you are a Texan. It's not what he's talking about. He's talking to his people, Israel, DNA Israel, whom his name is called. Remember, Yahudah, Yahuwah. Only one letter is different between the two. We are called by his name, Only one tribe has been given that distinction. Yahudah, the tribe that our Mashiach came from, our Messiah, the lion from the tribe of Yahudah, shall humble themselves. That's the first thing. We got to humble ourselves, not prideful, not the way we see our brothers and sisters out there right now, shaking their booty, got all kinds of grill and got extensions and eyelashes and everything else that we're doing amongst ourselves. Want to be seen riding on some 40s and everything else, right? Big old wagon wheels. And Palal and seek his face and turn from their evil ways. What does it mean to turn? This is tashub. This is another word for repent. Repent to what? Repent back to the agreement. Go back to the contract that I did with your ancestors, your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Get back on the ancient path. Then I shall hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their promised land. Not your United States of America, not your Nigeria, not your Angola, not your China, not your Australia. No, it's talking about his land, the promised land that was given to our ancestors, to our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob. Our land isn't healed right now. The Gentiles are running over the land. There are skirmishes all day long. There's no peace over there. That's our property. That belongs to us. He's going to take us back there. That's where we belong. Not here in the Americas, not in Australia and New Zealand, not in Great Britain and Canada. No, Jerusalem is our home. That whole area belongs to us. Everything west of Euphrates and east of the Nile belongs to us, and the whole Arabian Peninsula is ours. All that Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, all that stuff, that's ours. That belongs to us. That is where the soles of the foot of Abraham walked. He said, everywhere where your soles of your foot touches, that is your land. I'm giving it to you. Where did Abraham walk? He walked all the way from Ur, which is close to Baghdad, which we know is Iraq today, all the way to what we know today as Cairo, Egypt. And everything in between belongs to us, to the nation of Yasharal. That's our home. But it ain't our home right now. He ain't going to heal it right now. Why? Because we still have to go through this progress. We still have to go through this. There's more of us that have to turn from our wicked ways and cling on to the Mashiach, seeking his face, palaling to him, fasting to him. Then he shall heal our land, and he shall bring us back, and he will remember the agreement that he made with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and he shall restore us unto that land once again. And all of our ancestors who all kept the commandments, they shall all come back to life, restoring them into life once again. All right, so let's see what you guys have to say here. Let me look down at the comments. Let's see here. I'm snacking, Aki Emmanuel. Snacking. Yep, just want to see here what you guys have to say. After sharing all that information, I know that was a lot to take in. Somebody earlier asked, Do we preach love or hate in here? We preach love and we expose the hate. I am munching on some corn chips. You're all welcome for what we were sharing today. And I want to thank you all for listening. I ask that you share this live. We come on every weekend. And we ask that you would subscribe and follow us. We are a last day army. We are moving into the truth more and more every day. We have others that share this message. I'm not the only one. They're from all walks of life, from all different areas of the Arats of the earth. Just want to do the will of our Abba Yahuwah, who's in the Shamayim. So these are our brothers and sisters and mothers, the ones who are doing the desire, the will of our Father. That's right, Aki, Cody, Jackie. We are all ambassadors of Yahuwah. Ezra, I'm so happy that you're here. Appreciate you. The pleasure is all mine. Nahabiyah. Great to see you here, Aki Lester from Barbados. He's another one of our Akis that share the truth on TikTok. They have a get together with Akodi Veneta and Akodi Cecile and Aki Ethan. Can't forget him. Our Aki from South Africa. Oh no, Laura, stay away from that area. Don't go anywhere near there until Yahuwah brings us, because that is literally the battleground. That is the battlefield. I said it wrong. Bahana Yah, not Nahabiyah. I always be saying that, Aki Emmanuel. Appreciate the correction, Aki. Aki Swank Swank. She's doing well. She's doing so well she went to work. She's doing so well she went to work. I tried to tell her to stay home. She's like, nope, I feel much better. So, oh yes, so that's another thing, right? Askaya, you just brought up a great thing. I wanted to bring this up. So here you have these Buddhist monks walking all throughout the southeast part of the United States of America. Now think about this. And they're being celebrated by Christians and by all these people that are like, oh, they're walking in peace. Yay. Right? Why are Christians accepting this? I tell you why. Because the Christians are no different. Even though Christians say that they don't follow works, yet they look at works. And they look at Buddhists and say, oh man, they're so that's a peaceful religion. They're all about meditation. You know, they're all about being in harmony with everything in the earth and with nature. And now here they are walking about peace. Don't let the works fool you. Yes, Lauren, if you want to get one on Cody, just email me and we'll get it sent out to you. Again, I know there's some of you and I am behind on answering my email, but please be patient with me. I'll get to you when I get a chance. I do work at the same time. I don't do this 24 hours. I wish I could only do this and this alone. I would love to. I'd be on every day. I would literally be on every day. But I got bills to pay, mouths to feed. Yes, Shrilex or Shrex. Yes, we are pagan. Yes. Thank you for your analogy and understand. I mean, your what you call it? Your words of encouragement that we are pagan. Yeah, we're pagan believers. Yeah, we're pagans of the man god worshippers. Yeah, yeah, that's what we are. Hmm. Andy Jepson, you said, is the area you said is ours? Is it around 1,076 by 1,076 miles to fit New Yahushalom? The area is actually larger than that, and we know that the area that is there now is not going to be the same area. It's still going to be the same location, but there's going to be more land mass. Why? Because as it says in Revelation chapter 22, there will be no ocean there. Okay, there's going to be more land than ocean. And we're talking about the whole earth. So yeah, New Yahushalom will sit nicely right there. Okay, we would definitely, Aki Steven, we will pull off for your sister Lupe. Man, that's terrible. I hope everything's okay. Robin, you said you've been very patient. I know, Aki. I definitely need to get in, look into them, hopefully tonight, and try to get in. Shalom, Ak Al. Thanks for letting me know. Song wasn't feeling well. I know. I'm telling you, that's what it's getting to. Because I got so many emails. I can't even. I just feel like every time I do a live, I'm just getting swamped with more and more that I need to catch up on. Like literally. Roman 8 Disciple, what is my email? So for those of you who need to contact and get a hold of me, some of the things you can find on our website at ambassadorsofyah.com. It'll take us to our link tree that our Cody Nazareth put together. Let me see here. Where is my topics? Oh, here it is. Okay, so let me show you the email. Screenshot it right there. ambassadorsofyah@gmail.com. And our website is ambassadorsofyah.com. Okay. Aki Vig, you want me to go over the entire live again? Okay. Sure, why not? What is the so-called peace walk for? Just general peace for something specific triggered it? Yeah, Kodesh Collective, they're talking about, from what I understand, it has to do with a lot of the stuff that's going on between Thailand and Cambodia. There's been some border skirmishes between them, and then just the world in general, what was happening between Israel and Iran again, that's getting ready to jump off, and the United States and Venezuela, Ukraine and Russia. You know, this is the mess that this world is in. So yeah, this is their reason. So they say. What is the Bible that I'm reading from, Antonio? It is called The Scriptures TS 2009. Let's run it back 10 plus hours. Yeah, I hear you, Chris. Thank you very much for standing for truth and Yahuwah. You're very welcome, Cody Laura. Nicole, you said you recently saw a scripture. I see you, Aki Ian. I recently saw a scripture that said Gentiles will bring Yasharal or Yehuda into the promised land and be their servants. Okay, let me read that again. I recently saw a scripture that said Gentiles will bring Yasharal or Yehuda into the promised land and be their servants. Okay, yeah, so you're talking about the passage, and I can't remember exactly. But yes, but this is talking about the ones, and we just went over that passage too, couple lives ago. Um, this is those who we're going to be ruling and reigning over. This is not talking about those who have grafted into Yasharal, who used to be Gentiles. See, this is where people get this stuff mixed up. They just, again, they want to group the people together like, oh, because of your skin color, you're a Gentile, you never have salvation. You're always going to be the tail and not the head. This is not what the scripture says about the Gentiles who have made themselves to cling on to Yasharal, who've been grafted in. Okay. Those who have been grafted in are as one as Yasharal. These people are not going to be our servants. The ones who are going to be our servants are going to be all of those who Yahuwah has allowed to go into his kingdom when he sets it up here on the earth, where we're going to rule and reign with him for 1,000 years. This is when Satan is put into this pit that he's going to come out of later. Hold on one second. But there's going to be people, be it they're maimed, they're lame, they have a medical condition, they have a mental condition where they had people over them, let's say like a little child, right? And the little child has parents, and here's time to get marked with the mark of the beast. Well, the children have no say so because they're under the auspices of their dad and mom. So they're going to go, and if the dad and mom get the mark, guess what's going to happen to little Susie or Johnny? They're also getting a mark. But let's say that little Susie and Johnny are alive at the time of the appearing of our Messiah when he cracks that sky. Little Susie and Johnny, who were under the age of accountability, they shall enter in to the promised land, just like it was with ancient Yasharal. Ancient Yasharal, our ancestors, everyone who was over the age of 20 and above, they didn't get to enter into the promised land. Their carcasses fell in the wilderness. So it's going to be the same with the youngsters. They are going to enter in, and those who have mental challenges, they're going to be restored. They're going to have children. They're going to procreate. But those of us who made the first resurrection, we're not procreating. We're not being judged anymore. We're not being tested anymore because we passed on from death unto life. We are now kings and priests. We are ruling and reigning in this kingdom, and these are going to be our subjects. So those are the ones that you're reading about who are going to be our servants, not those who are Gentiles who grafted into Israel and now are part of Israel, because they're going to rule and reign with us as well. I hope that helps you out. Let's see. So let's pull off for our Cody Lupe real quick. Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, we come before you in the mighty name of your Bane, Yahusha HaMashiach, on behalf of one of our Codys, a Cody Lupe. Abba, we don't know what has gone down in her home, but you know. And Abba, we ask that you would help her with whatever is happening. May she have shalom as she is dealing with something that she's never had to deal with before. Abba, we ask that you would help her not to lose sight of what you are doing in her life and those that are around her, oh Abba. May you use this occasion to strengthen her amunah, her faith, and those that are around her. May she look to you for help and not in any man or any institution. All these things we ask in the name of your Bane, Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah. Amat. All right. Little light of the Messiah. Thank you for your words, even though we don't use a lot of those words and we don't follow that calendar. The new year isn't until spring equinox, but thank you. We don't follow the pagan calendar, nor the pagan holidays, and we are not Jehovah's Witness. What up, Onyx? All right. What else we have here? Yes, definitely do not be partakers of this pagan. Yes, exactly. Amat. Amat. Okay, Mishpaka. So we're gonna be back on tomorrow, and we are hitting the 6 hour mark now that I've been on. And like I said, you know that I can do this for a very long time. Yes, all praises to the Most High Abba Yahuwah. And we hope that you guys will once again reconvene with us tomorrow, 1 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Atlantic, 9 o'clock in London, Lagos, Nigeria. Let me show you our schedule here. You can take a screenshot of that. If you're depending upon getting notifications, I wouldn't depend on notifications because uh, they do not notify you all the time. TikTok is really bad about that. Um, but YouTube is a little bit better, but they do not promote my lives because of the content, and that's okay. Those who are seeking this truth, they're going to find us. They're going to find us. All right. So if you want to screenshot that, and all of this is based on the same time, wherever you may live on this earth. I want to thank Cody Jackie C for putting this together for us. All right. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. All right. So I hope everyone took a screenshot that needed to. Yeah, pursuing the truth, it is, right? There's a lot of hostility when it comes to this truth, especially of those of the Christian persuasion. Um, and it's by design that it's this way, because a lot of them, because of the programming, the indoctrination that has been fed to us every Wednesday and Sunday, it's a psyops. It's literally a psyops. And Satan has done this so well, has conditioned the eyes and the minds of the people to not see the truth. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Let me just think and see to make sure that I have shared what I needed to share today. Is there anything that I've forgotten? Anything, Mishpaka, that any of you guys can think of that I did not share with everyone here on the live? I was just wondering if any of you knew anything that I might have forgot that I had spoken to you guys. I don't think I forgot anything. Want some chips? Well, I guess you go on and get you some. Go on and get you some. By the way, so tomorrow is Arak Yom. Arak meaning preparation. So tomorrow is the preparation day for the Sabbath. I know some of you are like, probably, if you're hearing this for the first time and you're like, So, Laura, this is your first time here. We appreciate you being here, Laura. Really appreciate you being here. Um, Many of you probably believe that tomorrow is the Sabbath when it is not. Um, you'll probably have to come and listen to some more of our studies and learn it with us why tomorrow is not the Sabbath and why right now Sunday is the Sabbath, but it will only be that until the spring equinox. And then the Sabbath is going to change to Monday. And so, again, this is one of the things that we're really serious about, and we're happy about Yahuwah restoring us to his calendar, his timepiece. So let me go ahead and show you because Cody Stella just reminded me. Okay, so if you have a calendar bead like I have here, these calendar beads are available. Email me and let me know your request that you want a calendar bead. My Asha, which is my wife, she's the one who makes these. So we are on the 10th month, okay, on the 16th day of the month, all right, which would look like this for those of you. So if you count, so we know this to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Did I say that right? 16? Let me count that again. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I said 16. I meant 15. Today's the 15th day. Yes, Joanna. You can get that. This one here is mine, all mine. But they come in different colors. And what is this stream about? Chris is about the truth. It's about the truth. That's what it's all about. They do come in different colors. Let me show you some of the other ones that I have here, up here with me. These ain't all of them. We have some glow in the dark ones as well. None of the ones I have up here glow in the dark, by the way. So this is the green one. Okay. And of course, this one isn't brought up to the time right now. These are more for me to just show. Cody Stella, you said something about answer. What was I supposed to answer, Cody? Jimmy, can you show the calendar beads for those still learning where we should be? Yes, I think I did that. Hopefully I did. Yeah. Again, we're on the 15th day of the 10th month, and you would want to orient it this way. So you see that here is talking about the Feast of Matzot, or the week of unleavened bread, along with Passover right there. This is the second makeup Passover and unleavened bread for those who couldn't make the first one. So that's the second month. And then we have here on the third month, on the 17th day, or is it the 16th day? I can't remember. Let's see, 14th, 15th day, excuse me. 15th day is the Feast of Weeks, also known as Shabuat or Pentecost in the Greek language. And then we got the 7th month here that has the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and the 8 days of Sukkot, also known as Tabernacles. And we got the 8th month, the 9th month, the 10th month. So if you had one of these, let me take this one off here on this side. This is the tie down. You open that up, just take that slip knot off, bring it to the 10th month. The 10th month is right here. And we are on the 15th day, which would be right here. You just tie that down like that, and there it is. Now that one's up to date. Okay, so that's that one. And again, we have a lot of them. This is just the one that I have here that I'm sharing with you guys. Then we have this black and gold one with the white. And then you see the one extra day, this red dot, the red bead here. That's for the 365th day. Again, we'll make all this make sense for you. I'm not going over the calendar today, but this one's also available. And then we have this one here. This is one of our first ones. I call this one the candy corn. Looks like the candy corns. Remember the candy corns? Thank you. You asked for this info to YAH. Thank you for sharing. You're very welcome, Danny Nice Star. Yep. That's what that reminds me of. Candy corn. The candy corn one. Yes. I heard there was 13 calendar months with 28 each day. So Laura, this is going to be the confusion that you're going to get out there because of people following the moon phases, okay? But I can show you through books that we are not to follow moon phases. We are not to follow moon phases. So this is their understanding of why they say there's 13 months. So again, okay, Aki Emmanuel. So again, they like to say that there are 28 days in a month. Okay, 28 days in a month, and they say because there's 28 days, that would be 13 months a year. Okay. So now, I'm not that great with math, but I can show you how swift I am by using a calculator. So let me pull up my calculator. So we're going to do 28 days times 13 months. Comes out to the 364 right here. Right? 28 days, you see it right there. 28 times 13 equals 364. This is what they want us to believe, but that is not the way we keep this time. The way it's supposed to be kept, just like it says all throughout Scripture, is that there's 12 months with 30 days, not 28 and 13. So 12 times 30 equals 360, along with 4 extra days in the year, which are called transitional days or intercalary days. Okay, those 4 make up 364. Now, the 364 is 1 day and a quarter short of the solar cycle, because the sun has a cycle of 364 or 365 and a quarter, not 364 and a quarter. It's 365 and a quarter. Okay, so that 1 extra day is this right here. This is the void day, the separator day, the divider day. Okay, it's the day after the last Sabbath. So every gold bead on here, there's 52 of them in a year for 2 weeks. 7 times 52 brings you to 364 days in a year, not 13 months, each one being 28 days. And that's wrong. That's not what we're to follow. We're to follow the sun and not the moon. So this divider day has to come at the last Sabbath of the year. Okay, this separates. That's the day to add the 365th day, and every 4 years you're going to have 366 days, and we know that because the spring equinox is going to be offset by 1 extra day, so there'll be 2 days between the last Sabbath and the recounting to the first day of the week. So again, here what you're seeing is the last Sabbath of the year. Right after the last Sabbath is a void day, because you cannot split up the days of the week. You have to have it 7 days in a row. But you can stop it right after the last Sabbath to start again a 7-day count. So this would be the first day, second day, third day, and then the first of the year is the 4th day, which is the spring equinox, 4th day of the week, which is the day that the sun, moon, and stars were created in Genesis chapter 1, verses 14, 15, and 16. And so from the spring equinox, 3 days later, you find your first Sabbath. That's the 7th day right there. And that's how we find our time. This is all backed up in the book of Jubilees, in the book of Enoch, and the Dead Sea Scroll parchments. Joanna, the leap year will be coming up on what you know as the pagan year 2028. It's every 4 years. Every 4 years. So 2028 is the next one. The last one was 2024. So 2028 there'll be 2 days between the last Sabbath and the spring equinox. And then the next one will be the year 3032 or 2032, excuse me. 4 days, 4 years after that. It is the 16th day, right? That's what I thought it was. 16th day, right? So let me look at this. Let me make sure this isn't missing any beads. Right? Let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, yes, I just didn't pull it up one. That's my fault. 16. I thought it was the 16th today. Yeah, because tomorrow is Arakion, which is preparation day, the day before Sabbath. Yep, so that's right. Yep, 6, 7, 5, and then 6, 7. Yep, that's correct. We are on the 16th day today of the 10th month, Janet. My fault. Bad information. Bad boy. Bad boy. What you gonna do when they come for you? All right. Okay, Miss Baka. So, again, want to thank all of you for your time and your patience and your questions and your comments, and hope that all of you have a great Layla meaning night, and hope to see you all again tomorrow. May Yahuwah barak you and keep you, and may he allow the countenance of his light to shine upon you. Let me go ahead and send you all off with the Aaronic barakah. Numbers chapter 6. Numbers chapter 6, verse 22. And it reads, And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, This is how you barak the children of Yasharal. Say to them, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Yasharal, and I myself shall barak them. Hallelujah. Yahuwah. Again, my name is Ak Jimmy, which is another way of saying Brother Jimmy in the Abrit language, in the Hebrew language. And we are the ambassadors of YAH.
Verses sharper than fishing hooks, snagging souls, taking tolls, leaving devils shook. Who we be? Messengers, truth bringers, that's the key. Unlocking minds, leaving darkness in debris. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. Verses be thumping, shofars be blowing, beat be steady. Word power every hour, truth already. Planted deep secrets, keep fools unsteady. We elevate till your fate be ready. No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. Yes. Hallelujah. No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close.